Hey everyone, Dan here with Ellie Wilson. I've got the neck die I want to talk about. I've had a lot of questions on how it works and just a lot of confusion out there as to exactly what it does. So the neck die is exactly what it says on here. It's a neck sizing die. It's meant to just size the top portion of the neck so you can keep your case as fire formed as possible and create as much accuracy as you can out of the gun. Normally you get, depending on the caliber, 2, 3, 4, 5 neck sizes before you're going to have to bump the shoulder back or size the body of the case on a bolt action gun. Now, if you're looking at a semi-automatic, a lot of times those chambers are a little bit bigger, and you may not be able to full length or to neck size on those particular calibers. But if you're looking for the most accuracy out of your gun, and you know you can get away with neck sizing, this is the way to go. So the neck die, like I said before, it's not meant to do anything but size the neck. So it's not gonna size the body. It's not gonna push the shoulder back. That's not what it's intended to do. So with that in mind, you're gonna want to take the cap punch assembly off the top, which is a 3/32 wrench, and that's included in your die package. And you'll take a fired round and make sure that it sits flush or just below flush is okay. Now if it's sitting somewhere above the line where it's protruding out of the top of the die, that indicates that your chamber is probably a little bit oversized, and we might need to open that die up for you in order for it to fit like it's supposed to. If you don't get a nice fit like this, it can affect your accuracy in the neck. It can affect the accuracy of the body of the case, because it'll actually try and size it, and it can also break and snap your punch because of the pressure. The die is not designed to do that. So always check one of your fired cases that's ready to size and make sure that it fits just like that and it's easy enough to get in and out of there. So what you see here is the bushing recess, and here's a bushing that fits with this 223 round that I have. And bushing size, there is no standard, so the neck die will come without a bushing, and then you'll have to decide which bushing you'll need. And that all depends on if you're neck turning your brass or how you're prepping your cases. It can also depend on if you have 3 different types of brass. You have one that has 12 thousandths wall thickness versus 15 thousandths wall thickness. That's a different bushing size. But we'll get into that in another video. I'm going to go over bushing size and how to figure that out. But you'll see this one, it's got some numbers stamped on it, and I don't know if it's going to focus for me. Doesn't look like it's going to, but I can read this for you. So this is a 237 bushing on this 223 round. I've got 8 thousandths wall thickness. It should give me 2 to 3 thousandths grip, something like that. And with the numbers up, that's the standard way to insert it into the die. Numbers down, you'll get a few more tenths of a thousandths of a size, because we taper ring these. So the number end is smaller than the other side, just slightly. So I'm going to put this back in the die, run my punch and cap assembly back in there, and just get them started on each side. There is a little trick to this. We leave a little bit of slop here in the cap so you can center it if you need to in the other end. And one easy way to do that is to use a case that's already been decapped, and then take that and line it up with the punch hole, your flash hole, and then snug these down. Real quick, I want to cover the punch itself. there is another adjustment on each side. We have a set screw, a recessed set screw on each side. And in between there is a pad that keeps the screw from scratching the punch rod itself. So you want that to where you can move it freely like this. You don't want to have to slam it down. So all you want to do is make sure it's being held straight so it lines up with the flash hole. And the most important thing is having these snug down so the cap doesn't move on you and the bushing doesn't move in there. So now we got that all set. This case has not been decapped or sized. This one has. So I'm going to push that in and push it down as far as I can. You'll notice here that the rod on the other end is starting to come out. So first, with the numbers up, is how you start the operation. I have what we call a stainless neck die decapping base. That sits right underneath, and this makes it much easier to use. You can use a plastic or leather mallet to tap the case in and tap it out and decap. You know, something like this. You know, where you're hitting it on the ends. We found the dies last a lot longer, less wear and tear on the die, and more accurate size if you use a small reloading arbor press like this one. So we'll set it on the base with the letters reading in the correct direction as of now. We'll push this down and make sure it goes all the way flush. Come back up. Right here, you'll notice we've pressed the case in flush, and now the punch is sticking out even further on the other side. So we flip it over. So letters and numbers are actually upside down. And we're going to push that back out. We've decapped the primer, and we've sized the neck of the case. And this one's ready for the next step. The primers collect down below, just underneath the neck die base, and that's how simple it is. So that's the 223 stainless steel neck die with the interchangeable bushing, and like I said, we'll cover a bushing size here in the next video. Thanks for listening.